There's a lot of questions on the boards about why. Why are people fighting in Troy? And a particular question that struck me was asked, why doesn't the Trojans just return Helen or send Paris and Helen packing? And the answer is Kleos, which we talked about last week. A good portion of what's going on in the Iliad is about Kleos, glory, garnering glory, becoming famous, becoming immortal because of your actions and your deeds. And this is why Achilles is wrathful, why Achilles is angry when they take Briseis from him. He's wrathful because he earned her in his world, in his way of thinking. And so to remove her is to take away the actions, is to take away the glory he's already earned. And it's the worst thing that could happen to him. Why Paris and Helen are not brought to task is that it won't matter to the Trojans because the Greeks are already there. The Greeks have come for Kleos now. The Greeks have come to fight. The Greeks have come to gain gold, slaves, items. So whereas Menelaus is come to Troy to return his wife, to get his wife back, and to get revenge, everyone else who's on the Greek side is there for Kleos, the chance for immortality, the chance to become famous, the chance to garner goods, take things from the Trojans. So even if they returned Helen, even if Helen left the Trojan city and Paris was brought to trial, this wouldn't satisfy the need the Greeks have for combat, the need they have for Kleos. And so Kleos is a major portion of what we're talking about. You may note that when two fighters come together in the Iliad, they don't immediately fight. They spend a portion of their time announcing to each other who they are. I am Sarpedon, I fought this one and am the son of this one and did that. I am Glaucus, I am Diomedes. Whomever, they have to announce who they are because of Kleos. There's no reason to fight someone who's not as famous or as skilled as you. There is no reason for the Baltimore Ravens to come and fight to play your local Pee-wee team in football. The result is assured. And so for a fighter to gain any Kleos, they have to fight somebody who's valuable, who's of their type, who's like level, who's at their same level. So before anybody fights, they have to get together, have a conversation, a discussion. Who are you? And what will killing you gain me? Is it worth anything at all for me to fight you at this time? So again, Kleos is the most important thing going on the battlefield, and often you'll see that it plays out in various ways, but it's almost always there. I'd also like to talk a little bit about the character of Patroclus. If you could look on your page 166, you'll see Patroclus's large moments and then his eventual death. Patroclus is a Greek. He is a Myrmidon, meaning that he is part of Achilles' army, and he is a relations of Achilles. He's a cousin. It's well established that Patroclus is young here. They don't give us an exact age, but we can assume he's just starting out, 16, 17 years old. So if we assume that Patroclus is 17 years old when we meet him here in chapter 16, then there's some interesting math. That means, since the war has been going on for 9 years, that Patroclus started out for the war in Troy at 8 years old. He's been with Achilles for half his life, and he's grown up from boyhood to manhood as a warrior in the Trojan War. Now, at 8 years old, obviously he didn't fight, but this is all the majority of what he knows, at least. And so that changes our perception of who Patroclus is and Patroclus's place in Achilles' world. Achilles is a surrogate father. Achilles is a mentor. Achilles is the only family that they know. So Patroclus has the strongest pull on Achilles. So when Patroclus asks to use Achilles' armor to fight the Trojans, the entire book changes. Before that, the Trojans have had victory after victory after victory, as you read. And Hector has led the Trojan troops all the way to the Greek ships, and if he's able to burn the Greek ships, then they'll lose all their stockpiles, their supplies, and the war is almost assuredly over at that point. And Patroclus knows this, and he wants to lead the troops. He wants to be part of the fight. So, to rally the near-defeated Greeks, Patroclus asks his mentor Achilles, "At least let me borrow your armor. If I wear your armor into battle, the Greeks will think you've finally joined the battle, and the Trojans will be fearful. So the Greeks will rally, and the Trojans will run." And surprisingly, Achilles agrees to this. Achilles loans his armor to his nephew cousin Patroclus. And Patroclus enters the battle. But Patroclus doesn't just enter the battle that way, he fights. And it turns out he's quite a good fighter, and he fights over and over and over again and has victory after victory until his eventual death. His death is not at the hands of Hector. It eventually is at the hands of Hector, but at first we see that the god Apollo has something to do with Patroclus' death. Apollo either literally knocks the armor from Patroclus, or figuratively knocks the armor from Patroclus, meaning that Patroclus may have had some sort of accident, fallen from a horse or whatever, and harmed himself, and that's how he was able to be defeated, and Homer figuratively presents that as Apollo's attack on him. My phone is ringing. I'm back. Patroclus' death is certainly helped along by Apollo, but whether Apollo actually hits him in the back with the flat of his hand or not is up to the reader, and that's figurative and literal readings of this. You can determine that for yourself. But either way, after he is downed by Apollo, Patroclus is then stabbed by an almost nameless Trojan, and then finally it was Hector who comes along and finishes him off. And as Hector finishes him off, Hector kills him, Patroclus proclaims that soon you'll be following me, soon you'll be dead as well. And this is not simply revenge or anger on Patroclus' part. The Greeks believed that a dying person was given the ability of prophecy, the ability to see the future. So when Patroclus claims that soon you'll be dead, Hector, the Greek reader, or the Greek listener, knew that it was clairvoyance. It was not merely just saying things. It wasn't just talking trash. It was clairvoyant, that you will be dying soon. So even when Hector sees it himself, he knows soon that the end will come. But my point here is that Patroclus is a highly important character as well, and his place as family to Achilles, as ward to Achilles, is highly interesting, highly engaging, and important. So please read that section well. If you have any questions, please let me know.